Greetings, Ventures. This is Lorne, your Guild Advisor, back after like a 2-week news drought. There wasn't really too much happening in the way of DanMemo, but we just got a burst of information leading up to, of course, the 3rd anniversary for Japan. And we have a date for when that's going to happen. I believe this is the Japanese date, which is June 19th, Friday, which usually means, if we're going by Japanese Standard Time, that means June 18th on a Thursday for people in the western areas like North America. Yeah, of course, that's still quite a ways away, about 3 weeks away for the 3rd anniversary, so we still have some things to go over, and we're going to start with that right now. First up is the celebration of the anniversary eve. You log in every day for gifts of 100 iris each. Right here it says, to celebrate the kickoff of the Japanese DanMemo 3rd anniversary, you'll receive 100 iris every day as a login present for 5 days starting from the 28th of May. They don't say on here on the English slides if this is Japanese Standard Time or not, just assume it is. So I would say Wednesday, tomorrow on the 27th, start expecting to get the 100 iris, if not on the Thursday instead. And remember to log in every day because you only will be able to get that iris on that day. It's not going to be like within this certain period log in at least 5 times, but it is log in on these 5 days every day for that 100 iris. So make sure you are logging in every day to get that, because you're going to want all the iris you can get for the upcoming anniversary and the new units that are also going to be premiering with this anniversary eve celebration. And this is the anniversary eve new tale called Reminiscence. It looks back at the various event stories that have been held since last year's 2nd anniversary. It's a very interesting type of event because we haven't really had anything like this. And it seems like, as you can see on the layout right here, we read the past event stories, that we're gonna slowly get stages based on the previous events we've had over the course of the year, like Secret Game, Dungeon Rogue Town, Nightmare Academia, New Generation Pop Stars, Winter Reverie, The Werewolf Comes, Under Resort Crossing, the OVA event, and then Argonaut to cap it off, which was the last year's 2nd anniversary event. So I'm not too sure on how exactly that's going to work, because does that mean we're going to get like the full event to play through? Is it going to be like a summarized version of it, and we're going to get stages every day or so? You can see right here, starting on the 28th, Secret Game, and then on the 30th, Dungeon Rogue Town. So like every other day almost, and then spaced out every 3rd day, you'll be getting new stages based on the previous event. So I'm very curious on if it's like the full entire selection of the event, like all the quests in the events, or just like a summarized version of that, because it would be nuts to actually go over all the quests in all of these events, because that's a lot of quests and stamina to be used up. I think it did say the stamina cost would be lower, but if it is like the full rewards and all the quests in each of these events, that's actually quite a lot of iris to be able to compile, because if it is like every single quest and not just like a 5 quest or 10 quests per event that we've had in the past. And this is the art for Reminiscence. As you can see here, it says dropping your favorite 4-star guaranteed 11 draw gacha with the Reminiscence exchange ticket, and I'll go over that shortly. Right here it says, by clearing quests in Tale Reminiscence, you can earn a Reminiscence exchange ticket, and you can use the exchange tickets on the following gachas: Secret Game, Dungeon Rogue Town, Nightmare Academia, New Generation Pop Stars, Winter Reverie, The Werewolf Comes, Under Resort Crossing, the OVA event, and then of course the Argonaut event. So you can only use the exchange ticket one time because it says you can only obtain it once, so make sure your choice counts, probably towards a unit you either don't have for the collection or towards a unit that you want to get bonds for. And then more information about Reminiscence: drop items are the same for all quests, stamina consumed is the same for all quests, so yeah, reduced stamina costs and it's all the same. This time there's a low chance of earning Hero Fall on all quests. This time all battle quests have an EX high difficulty quest, so that's nice because most of us can just, at this point, auto battle our way through every single quest, including very hard. So it's interesting to see that they're going to include an EX difficulty. You'll see how difficult that is to do, and if there's going to be like an EX quest for every single quest in the event. If that is the case, I wonder if they're just going to add an EX difficulty permanently for every event now on. We'll see. You can earn luxurious items such as Hero Lights and Ascension Folda. That's nice. You can earn Iris, a count of 40 by clearing all quests. You can earn a 4-star guaranteed 11 draw ticket by clearing all the quests. And of course, the new units new editions of Argonauts and Fina will appear as new units. You will probably recognize them from the previous Argonaut event, which was last year's 2nd anniversary event, and these are new versions of those characters. And I'm very curious to see how this event even works, like Reminiscence. Like, is it going to be some kind of fourth wall breaking meta event where Fina and Argonauts commentate on the past year and all the events that happened? Very curious to see how that structure works with this Anniversary Eve type of celebration event. Here you have Thunderous Blade Argonaut with that awesome wink. We're finally going to get a version of this character that's Thunder type, because he gets that Thunder Sword during the story. Then he gets the Fire Sword from Crotzo, and he only ever uses the Fire Sword in his unit. So at least we're going to finally get a Thunder version of this character. And it makes more sense for him to be Thunder type because he makes a pact with a spirit to get that sword. And here is Argonaut. He'll be a physical attacker with a maximum attack of 1992 at maximum break, max hero ascension, and a max speed of 1031. And before I delve into the skills for the new characters, I'd like to thank Simhow on the DanMemo Reddit Discord for the translations. And on special arts, it says it's an AoE Ultra Thunder physical attack with a great, quote unquote, we're not sure if this is exactly accurate, but this is a temporary strength boost higher than the normal one, so a lot more powerful than a regular temporary strength boost, and an ultra penetration rate, and it will also give your ally 60% HP regen for 3 turns, so a very powerful AoE attack that will also give your allies some nice survivability with that HP regen and recover their HP. And for his combat skills, his first skill is a self-fast strength, agility, and thunder attack damage buff of 40%, and also buffs your allies' physical resistance and magic resistance by 30%, all of those for 5 turns. So he buffs himself by quite a bit, and that's a nice agility buff of 40%. And also your allies get some defensive capabilities and survivability with that physical resistance and magic resistance buff. And because this is just a buff type of skill, it will take place before like normal attack skills, so this should be one of the first skills to go off in a fight, so you'll be giving Argonaut a ton of agility and also your entire team survivability with that physical and magic resistance buff. For a second skill, it's an AoE Super Thunder physical attack with a temporary strength boost and ultra unguard rate, and also reduces physical resistance, magic resistance, and thunder resistance by 30% for 3 turns. So a ton of stuff going on in that one move. First of all, it's a super attack with a temporary boost, so it's going to deal a ton of damage, and it's also going to lower a ton of your opponent's defenses, and it will help pretty much any team because it lowers physical resistance, magic resistance, and thunder resistance. Of course, the one kind of team that you work perfectly with is any physical team that sports thunder type characters, but again, he is pretty much an all-round character and can be inserted into a lot of different team compositions. And for his third skill, it's a single target high thunder physical attack with a temporary strength boost, ultra critical rate, and it will also increase the debuffs on your opponent by 2 turns. So a very good move for single target type situations like Record Buster or single target Familia Rush bosses. And then for his passives, he has a plus 35% water resistance, he has a 5% HP MP regen per turn, he does 50% more damage on counters and 10% more damage on penetration. So again, Argonaut is pretty much a good all-around character that can be inserted into pretty much any comp and work pretty well. And then for the new Elven Flash Fina, she has a max magic stat of 1865, which is somewhat low for a magic attacker, especially because we've been getting lots of characters that are in that 1900 range and sometimes even the 2k, but I think only strength type characters have reached 2k so far. And as for her special arts, she has an AoE Ultra Thunder magic attack that will increase in damage by 20% for each self magic and dexterity buff skill on her, so you want to make sure you use her own buff that increases her magic and dexterity. You can also use an assist that increases magic and dexterity to get the full benefit of the 80% boost. And it also has an ultra unguard rate and a 60% chance to stun. So a very nice AoE attacking move that'll deal a ton of damage and also has a very good chance to stun your opponent. And then for regular combat skills, their first skill is a self-fast magic, dexterity, and thunder attack damage buff of 40%, very similar to how Argonaut worked, and also provide your allies with a 30% resistance to AoE moves and single target moves, all of those buffs for 5 turns. So again, just like Argonaut, she has a self-damaging boosting buff for herself, and also increases the survivability of your allies from both single target and AoE attacks. And then for her second skill, it's an AoE Super Thunder magic attack with a temporary magic boost and ultra uncounter rate, and also extends the status buff's duration on your allies by 2 turns. If you already have someone like Haruhime that a lot of people use, you don't really need that buff extension, but it's still a strong AoE move. And then for her third skill, it's a single target high thunder magic attack with a temporary magic boost and ultra critical rate, and will remove any strength and magic buffs from the enemy, excluding assist skills. So also somewhat useful for Record Buster, especially for bosses that increase their own strength and magic. It's a very useful move to have. Then for her passive, she has a plus 35% water resistance, the same 5% HP MP regen per turn as Argonaut, and then the same counter damage increased by 50% and penetration damage increased by 10%. So both these characters are all-rounders. Argonaut, I think, is a bit better. That can be inserted into pretty much any group, and then Fina, of course, is more magic-oriented, and her second skill isn't quite as great because it just buffs, extends your allies' buffs, rather than like giving the opponent a ton of debuffs like Argonaut's. But for both these characters, I'm not sure how long these banners are going to last, but I would try to refrain from going all out if you're kind of iffy on Iris, because we do have the actual anniversary coming up, and I believe there will be some overlap between the two. If not, like the last day that Fina and Argonaut are available will be the first day that the new actual anniversary characters will be available, so you might want to wait until then before going all out and spending your Iris. And then they will also get a heroic trial, which is very nice, so you can pick either Argonaut or Fina for your bond when you're done farming the heroic trial. And then this is the daily login bonus for the event. You can see it's pretty basic stuff like the stamina potatoes, the 70 Iris, some hero fauna, some gacha at the end there. And then this is the new Master of Familia War Game. It's a lot less complicated than it looks. Here it says the Master of Familia War Game Starts, a tournament within the top 16 to choose the best. So basically, we're going to have a Familia War Game, and then of the top 16 Familias, there'll be an additional war game, and within those top 16 Familias, you're basically going to have this bracket tournament. And you'll be, if you're not participating in the tournament itself, like many of us will not be if you're not in the top 16 Familias across the board, you'll be able to spectate and then pick which Familia you think will win in the various battles. You can spectate the games, and you can participate by supporting and placing the winning prediction. And here is the schedule for the war games. So Familia War Games, well, I believe this is the Japanese Standard Time, so even though it says 5:28, it means 27th if you're in North America. So tomorrow will be the start of the regular war games, and that will place you in your brackets for the regular Familia War Games. That will start on the 4th of June. And then when that closes on the 10th, the top 16 Familias overall will be decided, and then those top 16 Familias will be placed into a tournament, and that's the start of the Master Familia War Game. And then with that Master Familia War Game, we'll be able to watch the top 16 Familias duke it out in a tournament bracket, and we can spectate them and then make our predictions on who will come out on top. And again, this is another more in-depth schedule. It's a lot, they're making it look a lot more complicated than it really is. And here we are with the gacha from the past year available in a row. So we're going to be counting down to the 30th anniversary with a ton of rerun gachas. And it's going to be very similar to how previous rerun gachas have been. A 4-star unit is guaranteed on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th pull. And you can pull the gacha with 200 Iris on the 2nd and 4th pull of the 11 draw. And here is the schedule for that. Secret Game, Dungeon, Rogue Town, Nightmare Academia. This is the same kind of order we've had for the Reminiscence event and how those are going to go down. And then even more stuff. Belle's main story will be getting additions. And this isn't really anything new. They're just adding the 2 previous events, Certain God and Familia Love Songs, and a Certain Goddess's Love Song into Belle's story. So that's a very interesting take on how to do this. Because these past 2 events are indeed adaptations from Volume 8 of the light novels content that the second season of the anime did not cover and skipped over. and they're going to go insert those events into the actual main story of the game, because that just makes sense to do, because it is the canon content from the light novel. So interesting approach into how they're doing that, introducing them as events and then going back and then just adding them into the main story later. I believe they're going to do something similar to the Under Resort Crossing event, which was an adaptation of Volume 5 of Sword of Retoria. I believe someone said they are going to insert that into the Eyes and Lufia stories as well at some point, so look forward to that. There will also be a time limited mission where you can get a Bell episode 41 to 47 11 draw ticket by clearing normal difficulty. And with the main story edition, we'll be getting a brand new Hestia. And I was thinking that if we were going to get like a new gacha unit based on Volume 8, that one of them would be a Hestia, and we're finally getting it here. This is her outfit from episode 12 when she's in the village. Pastor Goddess Hestia. And as for her skills here, it's pretty average stats, and then that high agility of 525. And then as for the assist skill at +5, it will increase your allies' strength, magic, and dexterity by 10%, and also increase their physical and magic resistance by 15%. So it's kind of a good all-around type of assist that has a lot of function. As you can see, there's the magic and dexterity that you could use with Fina to get her requirements to boost her damage with her special arts. But it's just kind of a good all-around assist that isn't exactly like the best at any individual thing, but it's good all around. And then there's another 3rd anniversary login bonus, this time with luxurious items. Here you can see it starts on the 15th with Ascension Falna, then Hero Falna, Hero Light, and then the 4-star guaranteed ticket. And there's also going to be a brand new welcome back campaign, so if you know anyone or if you personally haven't logged into the game within the past 2 weeks, you're going to get a nice little bonus if you do get back into the game. If you log in during the specified period, you can draw a gacha up to 48 times. And here is the login bonus for returning players. You can see a lot of iris there, 100 in total, and then most importantly, most eye-catching is those gacha tickets. Like you see that 11 draw 3-star gacha ticket. There's 2 of those in there, and then there's also 2 4-star guaranteed 11 draw tickets as well. So very nice if you're returning to the game or know someone that's returning to the game for the 3rd anniversary. And then this is lots of stuff happening. Another banner, Revisit Anime Free 11 Draw Gacha Part 1. It's a free 11 draw, and it looks like this is like the first few episodes. This is like the characters from the War Game arc, Apollo, and then Hestia in the dress from episode 1 of the 2nd season. And then finally, the upcoming schedule, which is kind of short from the English slides based on how much stuff we just went over here. So starting on the 27th Pacific time is the 3rd anniversary eve with the Reminiscence event, the Heroic Trials, and then the War Game. And then on the 28th is that Revisit Anime Free 11 Draw Gacha. And we're just in the countdown to the 3rd anniversary that will happen in 3 weeks. And there is one thing I'd like to talk about with the 3rd anniversary. Now with all that out of the way, I'm not sure how the Reminiscence event is going to go down. Like, is it going to be some 4th wall meta breaking stuff with commentary by Fina and Argonaut talking about the past events? We're not sure how that's going to go down. But of course, the most exciting thing besides this almost kind of glorified rerun event is what's going to happen with the 3rd anniversary. It says right here, since it's the 3rd anniversary, the largest ever grand tale is prepared. Argonaut was super long already, had 2 parts, and the story was quite long. I think it was longer than season 2 of the anime, which is kind of funny. But there is some speculation, like very, very light speculation on what it could be just based on this emblem. I saw someone on Twitter, I'll link the account, it's like Shiho Machi Machi. They showed like the Astrea Familia emblem and how it has a winged pattern, kind of similar to like this part of the 3rd anniversary emblem. I think it's a huge stretch, but if it actually is like supposed to be referencing the Astrea Familia emblem, that would make me extremely happy. And for those of you that aren't big into the lore of Danmachi like I am or forgot this detail, Astrea Familia is the Familia Ryu used to belong to before they got wiped out, except for her during a travesty, a disaster, a tragedy that happened way back in her past 5 years ago. And if this is the Astrea Familia emblem, and seeing how this anniversary eve lead up is called Reminiscence. This again, this is a huge stretch, and this is probably going to just give me this big false hope, but I can't help but be excited for the possibility of it being about Estrella Familia. If this is Reminiscence leading up to the 3rd anniversary, and if that is Estrella Familia's emblem, if we're going to get like an actual story about Ryu in Estrella Familia, interacting with Estrella Familia members, doing stuff together, and then seeing what Estrella actually looks like. You see like the backside of her in the episode Ryu manga, but you never see her face. If we actually got that as part of this event, I'd be floored. I'd be incredibly excited, because with the episode Ryu light novel and even the stuff in the game which adapts the episode Ryu light novel, when that light novel was initially announced, I thought it was going to be about Estrella Familia, but what we really got was like how Ryu ended up as the hostess of fertility, the benevolent mistress, and also a story about like present day Ryu still having her like adventure tendencies and trying to help someone out at the casino. And I do love both those stories, but I was expecting something about her past, something about Estrella Familia. And without going into too much spoiler detail, we get like smidges of that, inklings of that in future light novels, but nothing as in-depth as just like a whole adventure with Estrella Familia together. So if that is what this is, and that's a huge stretch, and probably not what this is, because it's a huge stretch when you see the Estrella Familia emblem, and you see, like, even if you do compare it to the 3rd anniversary icon right here, it's only like 1/2 of the Estrella Familia emblem, and then the top portion of the wing is a bit different. But if that is what it is, I'd be super excited, and that's just me. But are you guys excited for the 3rd anniversary? What do you hope it's going to be? It's supposed to be the largest ever Grand Tale, but if it is about Estrella Familia, I'd be extremely excited. I'd be like the happiest guy ever, because Ryu is my favorite character, as a lot of you know, and I've always wanted to know more about Estrella Familia. Just like, I wish they had their own light novel series, just Ryu's adventures in Estrella Familia, because it is also a very interesting time period in just Danmachi lore when Estrella Familia is at large. But that's me. Hope you guys are excited for the upcoming stuff, Reminiscence, the anniversary eve, and the upcoming 3rd anniversary. Hope your rolls go well if you decide to roll on the new characters, Hestia, Fina, Argonaut, and good luck on the Familia War Games as well. If you like what you see here and want to see more Danmachi content, go ahead, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and follow me on Twitter, follow my Discord, and as always, continue enjoying your time, Adventure Mario, and the dungeon. This is Lauren, your guild advisor, signing out.